Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. We're streaming live late on a Friday evening, and it will be Saturday in the middle of our live conversation here. Again, very late on a Friday. We're streaming live on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page to over 20,000 New York Jet fans. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25, and of course on Twitter @BoyGreen25, hashtag Team Verified. And if you guys are new to the channel or just doing a drive-by and you haven't been here before, make sure you get involved in the comment section. This is an interactive program. I want to hear from you guys. Questions, topics, comments. We'll be on for as long as we are chatting with one another. So feel free, guys, to get involved there. And again, Jets-Patriots week, the rematch, of course, all on Sunday. And by the way, I'm ready for that game to be right friggin' now. But since we have time, we're going to dive into a few things. And the headline of this particular video stream is some breaking news coming in on New York Jets rookie running back Breece Hall. Now, unfortunately, we're all aware that he went down in the road trip to the Denver Broncos. Week 7 goes down in the second quarter, falls awkwardly, goes down, and then, a guy that had just broken off that 62-yarder to the house was the clear offensive rookie of the year favorite. He was spectacular, a home run hitter, all that jazz. And unfortunately, all goes up in smoke as he goes down, eventually carted to the locker room. We find out the next day the Jets are confirmed it with their medical people that he had a torn ACL and he will miss the season. Now, it's interesting that you guys hadn't heard any updates about Breece Hall, like the surgery or what have you. That's because in certain sports with certain athletes, it's a new theme, and I'm going to show you guys the video. We also have a full article out on this. It's in the description down below, which, by the way, is a healthy reminder. Make sure you like the video. Hit subscribe down below for more juicy content. But we have a full article down below talking about this Breece Hall injury, and I'm about to throw up a clip for you guys showing a first look at Breece Hall's surgically repaired knee. We'll be investigating that here in just a moment. But just to explain kind of the thought process here is that Breece Hall was injured back in late October, again, in that Denver Broncos matchup. Now, in the olden days, I'm not talking about, when we were moving around cinder blocks, but in the olden days, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when a guy gets injured, you immediately underwent surgery to repair whatever was broken or amiss or what have you. However, there is a new fad recently where, depending on the sport, the athlete, and the injury, teams will choose to wait to do the surgery because that can build back strength. There will be a natural healing process and there will be both a natural healing process and there will be strength built back into the particular area. Now, for Breece Hall, he tore his ACL. The Jets decided not to have the immediate surgery and to wait. Joe Douglas talked about that at the NFL trade deadline when he spoke. It appears that Breece Hall has had that surgery. So why don't we do this? We're going to throw the clip up on the board. I'm going to give a major shout out here to Optimistic Jet, who is a great Twitter account follow to have, of course, and they're right there, Optimistic Jets handle. He grabbed a 55-second clip from Breece Hall's social media portal, and this is Breece Hall. Now, I will give a warning. I saw a few comments on Facebook that it is a little grotesque, so if you'd like to look away, feel free to do so, but here is that clip from Breece Hall.
Honestly,
A medical professional is removing the old bandage, the old gauze that's wrapped around Breece Hall's leg here again. You can see the official handle up in the corner, Breece the Beast 23. That's his official handle on Instagram. And he released this video. It's a 55-second clip. And again, they're removing the bandages. Now, you're going to see here, it starts getting a little foul here with some of the blood and extracurriculars that are happening here because it's fresh off the surgery, it appears. And then as they're taking off, you can kind of see kind of the meat and potatoes of the injury. And then the medical professional with the gloves here is now adding the new gauze in, and he's kind of explaining that to Breece as he's there again. Yeah, just keep it dry as you're hearing some of the commentary behind the scenes on this. Again, this is Breece Hall. He released this clip tonight, and our good buddy Optimistic Jets. So huge shout out to them for sharing the clip. That was the precipice both of this video and the article. Again, Optimistic Jets, right there, baby. Thank you so much. They shared the clip here tonight. Now, it appears that Breece Hall has already removed that video from his official social media feeds. Now, that could easily be the team going, Breece, we want to keep this under wraps. We don't want people having extra intel, extra information that they shouldn't have. Again, Breece is out for the year. He's on IR. He's done for the year. However, the Jets may not want to be sharing some of this very intricate and important information. So whether it's the Jets side of things or his agent, it does appear that he has since taken this clip down from social media. But shout out to Optimistic Jets for grabbing this. And you're seeing it there from Breece. So it appears he had successful ACL reconstruction surgery, and we'll wait to hear, because now that that video is now out there, Robert Saleh will inevitably be asked about this, whether it's after the game on Sunday or on his Monday presser when kind of things calm down. That'll probably be the better place for him. We'll see if we get an update from that perspective. According to Joe Douglas at the NFL trade deadline, now remember this was pre-surgery, he said, according to the Jets doctors, Breece Hall is expected to make a full recovery and be ready for the 2023 season. And it's hard to even put timelines and things on ACL injuries and rehab, because it is such a unique injury from the standpoint that we're kind of in a brave new world of advancements in medical technology, and players are coming back sooner from things than we've ever imagined before. But everything is case by case, so it will be TBD. The thing you guys should all feel good about, we'll dive into some of the comments here, is the Jets have the luxury of being incredibly patient here with this. You have Michael Carter, who, by the way, is a very nice 1A, 1B in a running back combination. Very nice. Now, I was adamant at the time, as soon as Breece Hall went down, you have to bring someone else in. My top two names were Kareem Hunt and James Robinson. The Jets, of course, end up getting James Robinson, which I love the move. Low risk, high reward. And James Robinson is a great complement to Michael Carter. And so you have these two together. So Michael Carter's under contract because, again, he's still under his rookie deal. James Robinson, as a former undrafted free agent, he's actually set to be a restricted free agent next offseason. Now, what that means is simply this. The Jets are going to be able to bring back James Robinson on an incredibly cheap financial deal. So not only is James Robinson obviously here through the rest of this season, but he's going to be back next season. The only way he is not is if another team signed him to an offer sheet and surrender draft compensation to the Jets, and that's not going to happen for a running back, and that's unlikely. So long story short, James Robinson will be back. So you're going to have Michael Carter, you're going to have James Robinson, and then the Jets, like I said, can be as patient as they want to be with this injury, because eventually you're going to have the 1-2-3 punch of Breece Hall, James Robinson, and Michael Carter. Not bad. Tell me a better 1-2-3 punch in the NFL, especially with the Jets' dedication to the running game. That's incredibly important. So in case you missed it, that video's there. Again, if you guys missed the clip and you're just joining us now, because we're having people kind of coming in and out of the stream here, the full details are below on Breece Hall, who had successful ACL surgery. It seems today. He just shared the clip just a little bit ago. So we have that video up. We have the full story up. And I just have to say that obviously our love and thoughts are sent to Breece Hall. It was an absolutely devastating blow. This was a guy who was clearly the offensive rookie of the year. It was clearly robbed from him with this injury. And he was the home run hitter. And the Jets and Mike LaFleur had to adapt to the situation, find a new way, because everything the Jets did once Breece Hall was kind of emerging and breaking out was all centered around Breece Hall. The passing game, the creativity, all of it was based on the threat of Breece Hall and how defenses had to manage for him. So when he's just, that chess piece was removed from the board, the Jets had to learn a new way. And New England was very fortunate that not only was Breece Hall injured, but Elijah Vera Tucker, Corey Davis, and the all. So the Patriots in the first matchup got a less than full deck, obviously, from the Jets, and it still will be less than a full deck because a lot of those pieces, AVT out for the year, Breece Hall out for the year, and Davis is out for this game. We'll talk a little bit about that, and I can answer some questions while we're live here on the show about anything and everything you guys would like, so feel free to get involved as well. But I have to send our love and thoughts, of course, to Breece Hall. hopefully a speedy recovery for the young man. He's spectacular. He's going to be a phenomenal building block for this team moving forward. And just as a human being, of course, I hope he has a wonderful recovery from that standpoint. So you guys can read the full column below. But Breece Hall having the surgery, and he delayed it. Again, he injured it in the October 20s range in that Denver Broncos Week 7 matchup, and they delayed the surgery, it appears, almost a month, not quite a month, so probably about 3 weeks before having it. And again, that is a new fad in current sports medical just chatter, that you can allow the injury to happen, allow it to strengthen up a little bit on its own, and then have the surgery. That's supposed to really accelerate the rehab time, which should bring Breece Hall back to the field even sooner. So good stuff there. I'm seeing everybody come in here. Dave from New Brunswick popping in. We've got Dakota J popping in as well. And another one, Dakota J. Let's take first. Of course, the Jets play the New England Patriots. We got the rematch on Sunday. If the Jets win, it doesn't matter what anyone else does because Miami's on a bye. The Bills play the Browns in Detroit. Try to keep that one straight. But it doesn't matter what anyone else does because the Jets control their own destiny. The Jets beat the Bills already. The Jets beat the Dolphins already. So if they win, they're in first place in the AFC. It's a spectacular place to be. The Jets had the same situation back in 2008 when they went to Foxborough with the same circumstances, essentially, and the Jets beat the Patriots. That's the last time in the regular season, by the way, the Jets beat the Patriots in Foxborough. So, yes, let's go take first place. I don't think there is a game, and I've said this throughout the season, but I don't think there's a game I want more than this one. People from the outside don't understand. Non-Jet fans don't get it. They say, the Jets are 6-3, the Patriots are 5-4. The Patriots want it more. They need it more. The Jets are fine. Even if they lose, they're in a good playoff position. Now, that may be well and good because I believe, again, there's 9 teams for 7 spots, but I don't care about any of that crap. I don't. What I care about is winning this gosh darn game. I'm sick of this monkey, this New England Patriots monkey. And not only has the Patriots been the predominant rival, quote unquote, and it hasn't been much of a rivalry according to the stats, but in terms of the fandom, it's been intense. And I will tell you, it's probably a little bit more intense because my father was born in Gardner, Mass. My mother is from Rhode Island. My fiance is from Lynn, Massachusetts specifically, but the greater Boston area in general. So I've been around Patriots fans my entire life, and I will continue to be around Patriot fans. My dad's actually a Dallas Cowboys fan, but still, there's just a lot of Patriots around me. So I get a lot of crap, obviously, with the Patriots handing the Jets their patookie over the last long bit of time. So I would just love for the Jets to finally shut all that noise up and, quite frankly, put the New England Patriots in a very precarious position at 5-5. The Jets with the win would be 7-3. Patriots with the loss would be 5-5. You'd have a 2-game gap, and the Patriots' schedule is looking pretty questionable. After this Jets game, they have 4 straight games in primetime, which, by the way, what the hell? The Jets have one gosh darn primetime game against the Jaguars, but the Patriots get a freaking month? Are we what the beep, 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 beep? What the hell's happening over here? But I digress. But, come on, man. There could be a couple flex opportunities. I've talked to a few people that are in the know on some of these scheduling perks, and they've thrown some games out there. Obviously, Jets-Vikings could be possible. Jets-Seattle could be possible, the Geno Smith stuff. So there are some games that could be flexed in the future, and we can have those conversations as well. But, man, with the win 7-3, that would be juicy. Dakota J, 5-0 on road, still on the AFC team left undefeated. Yeah, they're 4-0 right now. With a win, of course, they could go to 5-0. And it's not some impossible task. Now, it may seem that way from all the statistical things that I just kind of fed all you guys. But, to go to 5-0 would just be tremendous. And think about the home games you have coming up with Bears, Jaguars, Lions. All of a sudden, you win this one, you're at 7-3, and you have those 3 games I just mentioned. You have Bears, Lions, and Jaguars. Now, no one's a cream puff in this league, but those are some cream puffs, man. Let's go through them. The Bears have lost 6 of their last 7, despite the quote-unquote Justin Fields show. The team hasn't been winning gosh darn games. The Lions have 3 wins on the season. They've won 2 in a row, so they're looking pretty spicy, but overall, there's no one you fear. And then the Jaguars. I can't wait for the Jets defense to say, hello, Trevor Lawrence, how you doing? So there is a clear path to get to the playoffs and do all kinds of wonderful things. And again, the running game, defense, and special teams travels on the road, and that's been prevalent throughout this whole thing. Let's go to Dan Byrne here on our Facebook page. Again, wherever you guys are watching, make sure you like the video, hit subscribe down below, show your support for the show wherever you're watching, guys. We go live as often as we can and fun shows, post-game shows, and everything else. My name is Boy Green, if you're new to the show. We have to run the ball. We need to flip the script on the Pats. Home game and run it on around 40 plays and pass it around 20. That's a key to victory. Dan, let's dive into that a little bit because I think that's fascinating. The Patriots got so lucky in that first matchup, and I'll explain. So week 7, the Jets lose Breece Hall, Elijah Vera Tucker for that matter as well, and Corey Davis. So what the Jets do is they say, okay, we're not just going to promote from within and have Michael Carter and Ty Johnson and Zonovan Bam Knight. Like, we want to go for this thing, and they were very aggressive in doing so. They scoured around the league. They made calls to the Browns about Kareem Hunt, a guy I was very interested in, and James Robinson was the other one I was interested in. But so once they get the news that confirmed that Breece Hall tore his ACL, was out for the season, that was Sunday. The game happens from 1 to 4 o'clock, or actually, I believe the Denver game was at a 4 o'clock game. So either way, whatever happened in terms of the time, that may have been a 4 o'clock game in Denver, probably. But regardless, so the Jets have to, so injury happens, they figure out that he's out for the year, and then they start making calls around the league because the trade wasn't instantaneous. So you had about 48 hours to kind of figure out a trade. They finally get James Robinson. I think it was officially announced in the middle of the Monday Night Football game. And then the logistics of going through the trade, passing a physical, and all those things. Like, James Robinson was kind of thrown into the deep end of the pool when he was initially acquired by the Jets, and his first game was the New England Patriots. So Mike LaFleur himself just kind of had to figure out how the Jets offense was going to run without Breece Hall. What were they going to do? How they were going to operate? Because again, Breece Hall had become the offense, and everything they were going to do was based and revolved around Breece Hall. So the fact that he was just suddenly that was removed from the table, the Jets had to go, okay, now what? And so Michael Carter's increased role, James Robinson being thrown into the mix. We weren't even sure if he was going to play in that first week because of the limited time that he had to get acclimated. Long story short, I think that's a big reason how the Jets game went the way that it did, because it was still a game the entire time. It's not like the Patriots ran away with the score. It ended up being 22-17, but the Jets only ran the ball 15 times. And that includes a Ty Johnson run. That includes a Zach Wilson run. Like, it was like 5 and 7 carries, maybe even a little bit less between Carter and James Robinson. So the Jets got away from their identity of running the football. They kind of got a little pass happy, a little trigger happy with Zach Wilson. Obviously, the 3 picks were absolute backbreakers. But wait a week later, the Jets-Bills game, the Jets toted the rock 34 gosh darn times. They pounded the freaking rock. And, of course, that final Jets offensive drive of just boom, 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 right in the gut and going down the field. I believe you're right, Dan. That is the key. And that's the thing that was missing from that first New England matchup. And there's a lot of reasons. Again, Michael Ford trying to figure out what the offense is going to look like without Breece. James Robinson just thrown in the mix. So there are excuses to why they didn't run the ball the way that they should have. Those excuses don't exist anymore. James Robinson now has 2 games under his belt with the Jets, plus the bye week. So he is fully acclimated to the playbook. A couple of Jets players were talking earlier this week. I think it was Michael Carter who said he's got the playbook down already. So that's spectacular. That should involve him more heavily into the game plan. Now, he doesn't have the Breece Hall home run breakaway. You saw that actually in the Bills game when he had that one break through the initial line and he kind of tried to do a move, but he didn't have moves, so he kind of went whoop, but there was no whoop. So he just kind of ran into the Bills guy. Like, a Breece Hall in that play would have scored a touchdown. But the fact of the matter is that now you're kind of having all of that come together. I think that's going to be very important in this New England game. And an underrated factor that people don't know about the James Robinson thing, that he is going to be a big piece of this. So I'd love to see him pound the rock. The Patriots defense has performed very well this season. The Jets defense obviously has been spectacular. I believe, according to the NFL analytics, this is projected to be the lowest scoring game of the week. And so that speaks to that first game where there was the pick 6 and why a 17-3 lead almost seemed insurmountable based on how the game was going and the lack of points. That once again, extracurricular activities mixed in with the run game could decide it. Defensive turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, special teams, battle of field position, all of that is going to be incredibly important. No doubt about it. Let's keep going, pounding through some comments here. Let's see. Dakota J, once again. Miss him so damn much, as do I. Miss AVT so damn much. Miss the dog, Corey Davis, as well. Yes, in case you guys missed it, Robert Saleh announced it earlier today that Corey Davis will miss his 3rd straight game and basically 3.5 games, because the Denver game, obviously, he missed a large chunk of that as well. But this will be the third straight missed game for Corey Davis. And the part that I'm sure raised a lot of eyebrows around Jets Nation is that in the Denver game when he got hurt, actually the Jets medical staff cleared him to then return in that game. But Robert Saleh and the Jets wanted to play it precautiously and said, nah, just ride on the bench. We'll figure it out with the young guys that we have. And then you would say, okay, if he could have gone back in the Denver game, that must mean he's going to come back in the next game, the next week. Well, that's not the case. Corey Davis has missed the last month and will miss this New England Patriots game this weekend. Robert Saleh explained why. First off, they're quote-unquote really, really confident. That's a direct quote from Saleh earlier today, that Corey Davis will be back for the next game, which will be a home game against the Chicago Bears. Bears. That's where Darrelle Revis will be enshrined at halftime as an official member of the Ring of Honor. And by the way, can we end that weird funk? We've had Nick Mangold enshrined, we had DeBrickashaw Ferguson enshrined, and in both of those games, the Jets lost. So let's try to honor the great, of course, the legend, the GOAT himself, Darrelle Revis, with a gosh darn win, perhaps. But I digress. So, you have all of that going on. But long story short, to get back to it, so Corey Davis, long story short, will be missing this game. But what Robert Saleh said is that part of the reason that they've been cautious with Corey Davis's return is Denzel Mims' emergence. And all you Denzel Mims stands in the audience, Robert Saleh says something has clicked, and because he's played so well, they're like, you know what, we don't need to rush Corey Davis back out there. Mims is playing spectacular. When Davis is healthy, we're just going to have a really good problem, and that means your starting three wide receivers are going to be Garrett Wilson outside, Denzel Mims, outside, and Elijah Moore moving to the slot, where I'm predicting an Elijah Moore breakout game. Now, I'm not quite saying 15 catches for 200 yards, but I think there's going to be some manufactured touches for the kid, and I think he's going to get involved. And again, he's had one target like in the last month, so I think we're going to get him back on the board, and I'm looking forward to that. But no Corey Davis, that's hurt. Again, I think a lot of Jet fans wrote the epitaph for Corey Davis in the offseason. I know Rich Cimini predicted he would be traded mid-season. And, a lot of people are down on Corey Davis. They're like, I can't wait to get rid of that guy. Because last year, of course, there was the drops, there was the injuries, and he even fumbled a few times. But I will be honest, he has bounced back in a major way this season after having 6 drops last year through the first batch of games. I know he's been injured, obviously. One drop all season. Corey Davis has been great. Also, the other thing that's really stood out about Corey Davis, I wrote about this earlier this week, is another statistical, whoa. He's averaging 18.6 yards per reception this year. That's clearly the highest of his career. And what that means is he's an explosive guy. He is getting big, massive plays consistently throughout the season. So he's been a big play guy. He hasn't dropped the football. Now, the injuries obviously are bothering him here, as it did last year. Prior to coming to the Jets, he was as healthy as an ox throughout his career. So maybe that's just a Jets thing where guys come here and they get injured. But Corey Davis has been having a remarkable season. So if and when he returns, and again, that the expectation is next week, he's going to be a key cog in this, both in the running game, big play options, and obviously he's got a great relationship with Zach Wilson. But he will be out, which means more Denzel Mims action for all you crazies out there as well. To go to Jay, Dwayne Brown better be in for Sunday. We definitely need that animal in for us. I will say Dwayne Brown, I know he was limited all week. I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. He's going to be limited all season long. Outside of some level of a hiccup that we aren't expecting, Dwayne Brown will be playing in all these games this season. Again, he's just going to have to continue to nurse the shoulder. He had an opportunity to get surgery on that before week 1 that would have knocked him out for the season, but he's a tough son of a bitch. And he just said, hey, man, I'm not going out that way. So now, the real question is Dwayne Brown signed a 2-year deal? When he gets the offseason and he just gets the surgery, maybe that – I'm just speaking. This is speculative. I have no inside info on this. But if we get to the offseason, Dwayne Brown, makes it all the way through and says, okay, now I'm going to get surgery, will that knock him out for a large chunk heading into next year? That's unclear. And he's old, so maybe he just says, okay, that's enough, and I walk off into the sunset. But in terms of this week, I have a full expectation that Dwayne Brown was there. Also, Nate Herbig is expected to be a full go. I know he missed a couple of days of practice this week. He is expected to be full go as well at right guard. I know that was a little bit of hiccup that made some fan go, zoink, Nate Herbig? Nate Herbig looks good to go for that. Back to Dakota J here. We have a Super Bowl caliber type defense this season. We're ahead of schedule. We're true underdogs forever. And by the way, I am comfortable with that position. The Jets have done well in that role. Also, the latest One Jets Drive episode is out. For those who don't know, of course, that hard Knoxian version of the New York Jets. I sent out a couple of clips tonight. We may play a couple of those on the show kind of randomly, sporadically. I also have a couple more that I'm going to be dropping, of course, on Twitter tomorrow. So, guys, stay tuned for that. I have a couple of tweets already saved in the draft, some juicy stuff from One Jets Drive, which I thought was really fun. So you guys can check that out again at BoyGreen25 on Twitter. But yes, Dakota J, I think you really pointed out there that the Jets could beat any team. Once you beat the Buffalo Bills, who are the hardest team on your schedule, the Super Bowl favorite, Josh Allen's MVP favorite, once you beat them, you could beat anybody. And that's that mentality that the Jets have, and it's been able to be built upon throughout the season. For instance, when the Jets beat the Browns in that unlikely scenario, look how important that win looks now, that once that happens, and the Jets have had a couple of these, the fourth quarter comeback against Pittsburgh, there's been a few of these moments where they've been down in the game, and in the past, the Jets may have folded like a used lawn chair. In this particular case, not are the Jets not just, not folding, but they're coming back, and thus there's a belief in the locker room, and that belief can be infectious to guys saying, we can come back, we've done it before. So the same thing, you beat the Bills, you're like, we can beat anybody, and that's how they should feel, and quite frankly, it's real. This defense is 100% legit, and they can make a run. There's no question about it. Again, I talked about things that could travel: defense, run game, special teams. Now, you don't have Breece Hall, and maybe a greater question, obviously the Jets have won without Breece Hall. They were able to do it against Buffalo, without a lot of their key pieces for that matter. But will the loss of Breece Hall be felt at some point if they make the playoffs? Will their ceiling be somewhat limited, so maybe they can't reach the Super Bowl? I'm not saying that. I'm just openly brainstorming, talking about it. Will that be something that, like the Breece Hall injury, maybe caps what their ceiling could be? Because the home run threat of Breece Hall could score a touchdown at any moment. Of course, that's just great for the offense in general with what he can do, but also the threat of him affects how the defense covers the other options. So we will see. I will tell you this: if somehow the Jets won the Super Bowl and they didn't have Breece Hall, AVT, and all that, you can only say, wow, just imagine when you get these guys back. But let's take it one breath at a time, of course. Phenom joining us. Let's hope a full recovery for Breece Lightning Hall. Amen. Absolutely. He's spectacular. I love the kid. Let's see. Ooh, yeah, I love that Jets Life podcast, and I love other Jets podcasts. Phenomenal. Jets going to get this W this weekend and mark it down first place in the division. Oh, it would be juicy. Again, people have no idea how obnoxious I would be on Monday and Sunday, for that matter, if and when the Jets beat the New England Patriots. That would be spectacular. Chris K. the Fifth, glad to see this. Thanks for sharing the good news, brother. Hammer down on the player of the year. Yeah, Breece is the player of the year. Breece Hall is a comeback player of the year next year. Would be spectacular. And yes, we just got the info tonight. I didn't know I was going live tonight, but you know what? This is the great thing about this show, is that we are versatile. And I'm sitting home doing Jets work, and then the Breece Hall news comes in, write a quick article. I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about this. This is great news, and kind of talk a little bit about the Patriots as well. So hopefully you guys can be a part of this family. I know, Chris, you are as well. For people who like to support the show, again, YouTube Super Chat is an option. I try to go through all your guys' comments, but if you want to support the show, you love the show, you think I'm funny, or even if you hate my guts and you just want to throw money, feel free to do that. I don't judge. So support on YouTube. The YouTube Super Chat feature is available for all you guys. Dakota J with the JETS chant. Jets, Jets, Jets. Yes, sir. That is, I am so excited. And as JC Jet fan says, make sure you hit that like button, baby. Boom, boom, boom. Excellent. And F the Pats. I'm all about that. Back to Dan Byrne on Facebook. How do you think Zach Wilson will perform on Sunday? I will be honest, and this was a point of contention on social media after the Jets-Patriots game, in case you missed it. In the post-game coverage, so Zach Wilson throws 3 picks, Jets lose, New England, that snaps their 4-game winning streak. Zach Wilson's asked a variety of things. Connor Hughes of SNY starts bringing up some stats and says, oh, wow, Zach, compared to some of these other quarterbacks, and starts kind of going through the whole bit and caboodle. Zach Wilson cuts him off and says, I don't care about stats. And Connor Hughes then says, well, do you think you've made the jump? And he says, I don't judge it like that. I don't look at it like that. I don't care about any of that. And basically, Zach Wilson just had this fire after the game. Like, he wanted to play the Patriots immediately after the game. He said, like, let's run it back. Let's go. And there was just kind of a fire from Zach Wilson. Now, some fans thought it showed a lack of accountability, because when he was asked straight up, like, did you lose this game? He's like, no, but we all got to play better. So, like, some fans and media apparently wanted Zach Wilson to take accountability with the media. All I care about is in the locker room for the most part, outside of rare circumstances, which we could talk about, like Greg Van Roten, that one where he threw Zach Wilson under the bus last year. That was a moment. See how far we've come, people. But as long as he takes accountability with his guys, because obviously he was the reason that they lost with 3 picks. But, I really like the fire. I really love the passion from Zach Wilson personally. And again, it only counts, though, if you then turn around. So I love it. But then you can't then throw another 3 or 4 picks against the Patriots, and it all looks like crap. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure on Zach Wilson to do this. But here's the thing that I would feel good about if I'm Zach Wilson. So he threw 3 boneheaded picks. I mean, they were just dumb. It's not like the Patriots confused him like with a cover 1 to a cover 6 or this or this or that. Man to zone. Man, I thought it was this. It was really that. Like, he just threw dumb picks. The first one, he's thrown off his back foot. That's just dumb. Now, if the New England pass rush may have contributed to the fact that he threw it off his back foot, but he had a wide open guy. Just hit him. Pick number 2, again, he was rolling out. He was trying to throw it out of bounds. He didn't. That's just stupid. That's just dumb. That's not like anything the Patriots are doing great. Zach Wilson, what the hell are you doing? And then on the final one, he just tried to make a play, chucked it deep, and it's like a fair catch interception, like terrible. But the fact of the matter is, you can't just excuse everything away. Turnovers are turnovers. I tweeted out this stat earlier this week, and it's true. Zach Wilson in 19 career games, he's played 19 career games so far in his career. He has 16 interceptions in those 19 games. Basically an interception a game. It's a little less than that, obviously. 7 of the 16, so nearly 44% of his picks that he's thrown in his entire NFL career have come against the New England Patriots. 7 interceptions in 3 games. Technically, that's 7 interceptions in 2 games, because the other third game he got hurt. So there's no real way to judge that, but it was just one of the games as well. So 7 picks in 2 games. So basically half of his interceptions have come against New England. So he has to defeat these demons. Now, what I wanted to make sure that what Zach Wilson did not do is, this week say, I got to get back. Like, I threw 3 picks last time. Now I got to throw for like 5 touchdowns to make up for it. No. Like I said, going back to the point of this, Dan, that the thing I'd feel confident about if I'm Zach Wilson is I threw 3 dumbass interceptions and we lost by 5. We lost by 5. So that means if you just cut back that a little bit, 0 would be great, obviously. But if you cut that back from 3 to 1, we'll see how the game kind of develops. All of a sudden, the Jets win that game. So if I'm Zach Wilson, I'm like, man, I got a great defense, good running game, special teams, which played poorly in that New England game as well. Battle of field position was up in the air. But if I evaluate it from that standpoint, Zach just has to do exactly what he did in the Bills game. Get the ball out of his hands fast. Easier said than done. I'm sure the Patriots are going to be looking at the Bills game plan and say, we're going to clog some of those first primary reads and get Zach. And so we're going to clog lanes. So straight up man press coverage and get some blitzing going on to kind of rattle Zach Wilson. Because again, him under pressure versus not under pressure, there are stark differences. So I'm sure New England's going to try to throw the kitchen sink at him and kind of blast those primary reads, which makes Zach Wilson hold on to the ball longer, try to roll out, cut the field in half, and things of that nature. So it won't be easy. But if I'm the Jets, I'm doing manufactured touches, which, again, the Patriots can't do anything about a jet sweep. Elijah Moore is going to get the ball if you're going to do a jet sweep or quick pop screens, like things that just get the ball moving and grooving. I think the Jets will be able to win this game. And how do I think he will perform? Personally, I think he's going to perform well. I think he's going to have a great bounce back. He is a kid. Especially when you look at the first season, of first half to second half, it's almost like pre-injury, post-injury, and then this year pre-bye, post-bye. It's just kind of, he's a kid that's resilient and is willing to bounce back. So I believe the Jets are going to have a great game plan here, and I think he's going to perform very well. Daniel Faust, who not only with the YouTube super chat, thank you so much, pal, for reaching into your pockets. I always appreciate that, my brother. But also, you could see right here that he is a member of the Boy Green Super Fan Club, which is my YouTube membership, where you guys can support the show for a cup of coffee every single month. So feel free to do that if you guys are enjoying the show. I always appreciate that. Daniel says our Rookie of the Year, Breece Wilson Sauce. Yeah, so Breece would have been the Offensive Rookie of the Year, and by the way, he would have been the first Jets Offensive Rookie of the Year in history. The Jets have had multiple defensive rookies, most recent of which, of course, Sheldon Richardson. So they've had several throughout their history, like 4 or 5. But offensive rookie, never, not once. So now the betting odds will have to transition to Garrett. Garrett's been kind of going off here, so he's got an outside shot. He's going to have a lot of productive weeks to kind of make up the difference with some of the star running backs like Dameon Pierce in Houston or Kenneth Walker in Seattle. So he's got some ground to make up. And Christian Watson just got 5 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks for the Green Bay Packers. So he's got some area to make up, but Garrett Wilson may have a shot. I think Sauce is the favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year, which would be spectacular, and maybe even should earn some votes for Defensive Player of the Year as well with how well he's performed. But yes, it just speaks to how good this Jets class is. No question about it. Let's go to Facebook. We got Patrick Lee Jennings. This is the biggest game of the year. I'm extremely confident we will win, and that scares me that I'm this confident. Yeah, Patrick, I'm kind of in a weird place as well. We had my good buddy Pat Lane. He is the co-host of the Patriot Nation podcast, also does work for Pat's Pulpit, which is the SB Nation affiliate site, talking about the Patriots. And he kind of has this kind of, I don't want to quite call it arrogance. I've had a lot more arrogant Patriot people on my shows than Pat. But he has this confidence that the Patriots are going to do that oogie boogie voodoo magic on Zach Wilson. He just implodes. But he said that if the Jets win, I wouldn't be surprised. Pat Lane, the Patriots guy, saying this. I've got a confidence too. There's a emotion, obviously, with how the first game went. I know fans feel this way. The organization feels this way. They let one slip away. Because if you really think about it, the Jets win that game. The Patriots right now are 5-4. With the loss, I mean, they would have been 4-5, and then with another loss to the Jets, potentially 4-6, and their season's over. So, that's a game I think a lot of us believe the Jets let slip away. So there's going to be that. And quite frankly, I'm just going to be honest, Patrick. I know this is apparently forbidden things to talk about. The Jets are a better team. They got a better offense, better defense, better special teams. Now, you could give coaching to Bill Belichick. Obviously, he's been doing it a long time, although I'd give a lot of credit to this Jets coaching staff, who has done remarkable, both LaFleur, Jeff Ulbrich, Robert Saleh in situational football. But obviously, you give coaching nod to the Patriots. But in every other facet, the Jets win. So really, you hate to boil down a complex game to such a simple concept of, holding on to the ball. But I have this confidence as well, Patrick, that they're going to go into Foxborough and they're 4-0 on the road. So they have a moxie on the road and they're going to go win this gosh darn football game. So, it is weird to have this because it's been a very long time, to be honest with you, Patrick, since I've had this level of swag. Probably 2015 in the middle of that 5-game winning streak at the end of the year when I'm like, oh man, this Jets team, if they get in the playoffs, they can make a run. Like I had a confidence in, of course, the AFC Championship years. But man, yeah, there is this swag that's going on, Patrick, and embrace it, man. Because look, Jet fans have had one gosh darn winning season 11 years. One. That's 2015. And really a year none of us saw coming with all the veterans they brought on. So you've had one winning season. So fans, freaking embrace this thing. Embrace the confidence. Embrace the swag. And enjoy and savor every win because we don't know. The Jets could go, I don't know, 17 games, so 6-11 or whatever, right? They could go that. They could lose every game the rest of the way. Like, we don't know when these wins are coming, how they're coming. So I embrace everyone like it's a freaking Super Bowl, baby. And I'm enjoying this ride. I think it's fun. I think this Jets team is going to win a lot more than 6 games. And it's fun to be a part of. No doubt about it. So, Patrick, enjoy this, baby. Ron jumping in. Let's go Jets. Hashtag Jet Up. I love it, baby. A late Friday night. We are now officially into Saturday morning. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. This is fun. Let's see. Hawk joining in with the flex emoji. Very nice, Hawk. Also flexing with the stash. I love that as well. Matthias Simon. The defense will have a huge game. I think so as well. And my bold prediction was on one of my shows earlier this week. I do too many. One of my shows earlier this week, I predicted a pick 6. And I predicted specifically Sauce Gardner will be getting that pick. And I went even a step further with the prediction. Not only will we get a pick six, it's going to be Sauce. And then the Jets defense is going to joke and look around like, oh, where's the penalty? Because remember, of course, Mac Jones pick six, Michael Carter II. There was a penalty on roughing the passer on JFM. Again, that obviously did not affect the pass, but the penalty was the penalty. And now this time they're like, oh, wait, does this one count? LOL, suck it, Patriots. So yeah, so that's my bold, intense prediction. If that happens, I'm retiring. It's been fun, everybody. I'm never going to get better than that, but that's my prediction. I think Sauce is going to get that pick six. Matthias, we have Zach Wilson, 235 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 picks, Jets 23, Patriots 16. I like that score. That seems to be the ballpark. I've looked at some of the analytical projections, 2017, 17-16. I've seen a couple of those in the ballpark, so that seems about right. I think there is some vulnerability where, again, Zach Wilson, the first one, had 355 yards, his first 300-yard game, highest yardage total of his career. I think you can get a little wild there. I'm not sure it's going to quite get to that level, so it could be flirting with 300, but I do like your projections here. That's very nice. We have the Jet Life podcast thrown in a prediction. 24-13 is my prediction for Sunday. Big statement game from Zach incoming. Yeah, my prediction, I'll just give it now in the middle of the show. I think I have it convincing. I had it somewhere in the ballpark I can't remember what I said on another show, so it'll be somewhat different, but like 28-14, something like that. Like, I don't think the Jets squeeze this one out. Like, I think they're going to come into this with some oomph. Like, they're going to come into this like we're not playing games. And again, that's 28-14, something like that. And I think they give them the business. So that's awesome. We have Tony Alexio. We love Paul Boy Media. Haha. Let's go Jets. Amen, brother. Thanks for the support. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Also a good point, but Dakota J, 2-1 in the division right now. Let's go to 3-1 OMG. Remember, before the year, folks, the 0-12 mark in the AFC East, and the Jets would have been 3-0 in the division heading into the Patriots game. Of course, they're not. They're 2-1, but 2-1. I mean, how many Jet fans would have taken 2 wins before the year in the AFC East? Again, a little bit of a loser mentality there to say that, but again, when your standards have been affected so long for the perception of winning and lack of winning, like, you'll take what you'll take. So it's spectacular. There's no question about it. Let's go to Kev_Chata. Closest comp to Breece is Saquon, in my opinion. It will take 2 years like Saquon to get back into his elite burst. Yeah, potentially. Again, everyone's different. I hate to compare him to Adrian Peterson, but just to use the injury as a background, like Adrian Peterson tore his ACL in I remember it being November, December. I remember it being super late in the season. Then he was back the next year and ran for 2,000 yards. Not that I'm necessarily predicting that for Breece, but it's super case by case. And medical technology is only getting better as we're moving forward here. So we'll see. Again, I think the thing that the Jets and thus Breece have going for them is, again, Jets have luxury with depth in the backfield. They don't have to bring Breece back for week 1 if that's when he would be ready. It's unclear at this point. The Jets going to generalize when they talked about it at the trade deadline. Again, that was pre-surgery. That they're both, and they both being Elijah Tucker with the tricep, and then Breece Hall with the torn ACL. We'll both be back strong next year, full recovery, all that jazz. But obviously they weren't specific in terms of timeline at that point. So, but yeah, if you give me Saquon's looking pretty good this year. So give me Saquon. That would be spectacular. Jet Life podcast. Too many times in the past that we've had a chance to turn the corner versus this team and failed. This team is different and will change that. Yeah, see, that's the thing for me, because if the Jets lose this game, again, I think the Jets are going to win. But let's play it out. The Jets lose this game, they're 6-4. Now, they just got swept by New England, so New England would have the tiebreaker. You're probably going to 4th in the division. Not great. However, you would still have a very firm, clear path to the playoffs, because right now, I agree with all the sentiment that people are saying. There are 7 spots for 9 teams. The Jets and the rest of the AFC East are all in the playoffs right now. The 2 teams that are currently on the outside looking in are the LA Chargers, who play the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Chargers are a 7-point dog at home, so we'll see how that one turns out. And then the other team is the Cincinnati Bengals, who obviously have the head-to-head tiebreaker against the Jets. Both teams have interesting paths. You guys can kind of dive into that in more detail. But the point is that even if the Jets lose, they have a path to the postseason. And looking at the rest of the way and counting the wins on my hand, I still think the Jets are going to make the playoffs no matter what. But I think that this game is just so important, to your point, Jets Life podcast, that winning this game, the demons for the fans, the next level that you take, again, there's just such a tremendous difference between 7-3 and 6-4. Like 6-4 is good, it's great, it's better than I think a lot of Jet fans would have expected, but 7-3 is a different level. Right now, in the NFL, there are only six. I'm saying that for emphasis. There are only 6 teams in the NFL right now that have more wins than the Jets. That's a wild stat. Only 6 teams in the entire league right now have more wins than the Jets. And, of course, the Jets, already have their bye week. So it could be even less than that. And then you go to 7. Whew, shoot. Woo-wee. All of a sudden, we're talking in a different light. And so this Patriots game is massively important. There's just no other way to put it. Hawk, oh, there you go. If the surgery goes really well, can we get Breece Hall back by the Super Bowl? Now, I guess I will say this, especially with the Cam Akers Achilles thing, since he came back, was able to kind of contribute that way. I guess you can never say never. And maybe it's kind of like, it reminds me, Hawk, actually, of Rex Ryan, right? So the Jets lose to the Falcons in 2009. And after that game, he comes up to the podium and says, it was a good run. We're not going to the playoffs. And he also tells that to the players in the locker room. Thomas Jones had a great story about it on the Flight Deck podcast with Rich Cimini. So Thomas says, Rex Ryan comes to the room and says, hey, the playoffs are over this year. And the players assume, he said, Thomas Jones is saying that, obviously the coach must be right. He's paid to do this. So we assumed, oh boy, I guess no playoffs this year. And then we find out, obviously, that was not true. And the Jets get in the playoffs and make the crazy run and everything else. So that's kind of what this feels like, is that the Jets said, he's out for the year. Because to assume you're going to the playoffs, which you haven't been in 11 years, to assume that you'd win multiple playoff games, which obviously has not happened since 2010. And then the Super Bowl, which you haven't been since 68, 69. So maybe that could be one of those Rex Ryan-ish things that comes back. They're like, we said he was out, but we didn't know we were going to the bowl, baby. We didn't know we were going to the chip. So maybe you're right, Hawk. Maybe that's possible. You can never say never, baby. Let's go up for debate with Scoop. We are winning this one, Green Boy. Gosh, I hope so. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my veins, and I want to give it to New England Patriots. So I certainly hope so. Sam Sala, any relation to Robert? I will assume so. If they play the way they played against the Bills, they would make the playoffs. 100%, without a doubt. I don't think anyone would question that. Raw Power. Have to bring Robinson back. The reality is Hall might not be ready for the start of next year. That's a very realistic possibility, Raw Power. And Robinson you have to bring back. Again, he's going to be a restricted free agent, so literally it is dirt cheap. I can't even project it because it depends on the tender the Jets throw on James Robinson, but there is like a 99.9% chance that he's back because it's going to be super cheap, or a team's going to give you draft compensation, which again is not going to happen. I love James Robinson, but teams don't value running backs in that way unless James Robinson just goes crazy. He's in the MVP discussion by the end of the year, which obviously is not going to happen. Then maybe that changes, but no, they're going to have a luxury from that standpoint. Hawk, I figured it would be at least 4 weeks with Corey. Sprained MCL, took Zach about 4 weeks. Yeah, he had the sprained PCL. And it's different for everybody. Another one, Robert Shaw kind of indicated that with the knee sprain, it kind of affects everybody differently. So whether you want to believe Salah that they've had the luxury of Denzel Mims, they haven't rushed him back, or it's just kind of lucky that they have Mims, so Corey Davis is out, so they have a guy to step in, whatever way you want to interpret that. But again, Corey Davis coming back is really important for everybody. Some keys to victory here from Jets Life Podcast. We'll be on for a little bit here. I'll try to get to as many of your questions as possible. Remember, the YouTube Super Chat feature is open, and I see we have one coming up. I will answer that one and any other ones. I'll try to get to all your comments, but just in case, if you want to guarantee your comment gets answered, give us the YouTube Super Chat, which again is available on YouTube. Jet Life Podcast. Run the football. Yes, check. Play action quick passing game. Yes, I'm about it. The Jets need to use more play action game. Continuing playing great defense, 100%. Mac Jones played like dog shit in that first game, to be blunt. I mean, he was just trash, absolute trash. And remember, that's his first full game back since the high ankle sprain, which again, in the prior matchup against the Chicago Bears, they had this weird Bailey Zappi, Mac Jones thing and a lot of quarterback controversy. So he played terrible, and the Jets sacked him 6 times in their matchup. That's a recipe to win every game this year, and the team has the tools to do it 100%. Again, there's going to be moments where the other team challenges you to do things that are uncomfortable, like Zach Wilson just balling out, and we'll see if he's capable of doing so. For sure. Let's keep going here. Oh, we got a YouTube super chat. Chris K. the 5th throwing this in. G-Dub, Elijah Moore, and Mims. The future is now. I'd love to see a few spread formations where you throw Berrios in with that bunch. 100%. I'm not sure how often we'll see that. I'll have to double check the analytics on 4 wide receiver sets and things of that nature. I think it's purely situational. Very Madden-ish for some of you guys out there. But yeah, I mean, to get Garrett Wilson on the outside, Mims on the outside, Elijah Moore in the slot, depending on the Corey Davis future, which again, if the Jets decided to move on from Davis in the offseason, they could save north of $9 million, and their dead cap would be $666,000, which is nothing. And the Jets are going to have to make some tough decisions with some of those cap situations. So we'll see. Again, Corey Davis, while you could save that money, and that's tempting. Now there's the cat. Okay, there's an extra appearance from jumping around. Hey, this is what happens late night on a Friday / early on a Saturday, I guess. But they could move on from him, and that money I'm sure is tempting. But I would also say this: Corey Davis's contract isn't that crazy. He's due to count again about $11 million against the cap next year. That ranks 30th among wide receivers in the NFL next year on a per year basis. So like, top 30 wide receiver, that's nothing. That's nothing, man. Like, so maybe they extend him and make that number a little smaller. Maybe takes a pay cut. Like, I don't know. But to me, I don't think Corey Davis is his foregone conclusion to leave. But yes, just because Elijah Moore's getting reps in the slot, or Garrett Wilson's on the outside, or Denzel Mims is here or there or anywhere, everyone is going to get involved. You're going to get Braxton involved. I want to see like a actual intent to use Elijah Moore, and I believe we're going to get that this week. But yeah, the quote-unquote future is now, Chris. You're 100% right with all those options, and that could be the future at wide receiver. Mims, of course, has one more year left on his deal after this season, and we'll see kind of where the Jets go from there for certain. Let's keep going here. Jet Life Podcast. Boyd Green killing it with the late night content. Like and subscribe all. Yeah, it's been kind of weird how that's been randomly happening. We had last night Pat Lane. That's just kind of how it worked with his schedule. He's a math teacher in his normal day job. I'm a sports talk radio host, so we're all weird with our jobs. So we've had back-to-back late-night content. That is sort of random, but hey, we'll take it whenever. We are a versatile show. We can go live at any time, morning, night, afternoon. And for all of those who are curious and new to the channel, 2 hours after every Jets game all season long, whether it's Thursday night football, 1 o'clock game, 4 o'clock game, don't matter. 2 hours after every game, we're here live on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page, my YouTube account, and my Twitter account, breaking down the game, talking about it. And I love it because in the past, I used to do these immediate reactions to post-game, and those are fun and emotional, and I tweet and get all that out anyway. That we're able to get Robert Saleh clips, player clips. We're able to kind of get a full flavor by the time we chat. So, guys, feel free to check that out. Again, our Jets post-game show, which is streaming live 2 hours after every Jets game all season long. It's been really fun with a lot of you guys. So thanks, Jets Live, for the shout-out. I appreciate it. Vern. This is crazy. Late night live when I'm off drunk and baked. Go Boy Green. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey, enjoy life. Enjoy life. What's his username on Twitter? I don't know. At BoyGreen25 is mine. Optimistic Jets is simply Optimistic Jets. Breece Hall is like Breece H, I believe, on Twitter. I believe the video that we shared earlier was from his Instagram, I believe. I've reached out to Optimistic Jets to see, but I checked all of Breece Hall's social media portals and the video wasn't up anywhere anymore. So it looks like he took it down. Again, I would assume that's from the Jets. That's not any inside source. That's just my educated guess is the Jets said, hey, take that down. And it looks like he did. Let's go to Phenom here. Boy Green. We're going to need our rushing attack, but passing attack has to be effective. This could set the stage for Elijah Moore, Tyler Conklin, of course, Garrett Wilson for a chance to shine. Yeah, Garrett Wilson did very well against New England. Now, Bill Belichick's calling card is not apparently, like his calling card throughout history is whatever your number one thing is, he takes it away and forces you to beat him in another way. With how Garrett Wilson was creating man beaters and big plays against New England the first time, I imagine that will be the focus of New England. Now, I will also say this, that while that is Bill Belichick's calling card, okay, just because I don't want something to happen doesn't mean it's not going to happen, right? So just because Bill Belichick wants to take away Garrett Wilson, okay, I want $1 million. That doesn't mean I'm going to get it. So, taking away Garrett Wilson and wanting to take away Garrett Wilson are two different things. And if the attention is really on Garrett Wilson to that light, you have Elijah Moore, you have Tyler Conklin, you have the running game. You have a lot of different ways to attack this Patriots team, which does not have the same level of cornerback play they've had in the past. Now, they got some guys who are very interesting, but no Stephon Gilmore, no J.C. Jackson. Like, it's a much different group. Jet Life Podcast. We need to embarrass this team. I want to hear those Pat fans booing their offense off the field. I'm tired of this team. 100%. I mean, a win's a win, which I would fully appreciate. But, 100%. You embarrass New England Patriots, that is something I could thoroughly enjoy. We have Viking Security with the JETS chant. Love it. That's amazing. Let's go. Jonathan Strong, go Jets, North Carolina in this house. Sure. Michael Carter, Quentin Copels, another North Carolina shout out. I'm trying to just think of random North Carolina players that have been on the Jets in history. Javonte Williams out in Denver. Prayers to him for another injury. Again, I had him on my fantasy team this year. But yeah, North Carolina's looking spicy. I like that. Jay Stones, take the Jets plus 3.5. Yeah, that's the current line right now. It was at 5.5 last week. So if you got it at that, God bless you. Sam Sala. Yeah, and this is a note for everybody that yes, this is even after we are live here on the show. You guys can, of course, rewind any of these videos on YouTube, but as soon as the show's over, you can rewatch the entire show. So yes, whether you're watching live or after the fact, it's always available. YouTube.com/BoyGreen25. Like the video and hit subscribe as you are watching. Let's go back to Hawk. The bubble screen is designed for small, shifty receivers like Elijah Moore. That has to be in the playbook this week. And also, I just love this in general. We did this in high school football. We were mostly a running team. I don't know if that's just the nature of our playbook or an identity for this area in New York. But, I loved it when the quarterback for our high school team, and this is NFL, college, everything. So we have a play called, let's call it a 148 extended sweep, which was this play that came off the right tackle. But if that was a play call, we're in the huddle, 148 extended sweep on 2, ready, break. And then we go up to the line, and then my quarterback looks out to the outside, and he sees there's off coverage, 7 yards of off coverage or something. Bluebird Cobra, or just look at him and tap the helmet and just I'm just going to hike this ball and I'm going to freaking throw it to you. Basically, everyone has a different signal. So, whether it's a word or slapping the helmet or just kind of eyebrows or whatever, to your level of comfortability. That's what I want to see a couple of times, to be honest with you. And I don't know why teams don't take more advantage of it. Some teams do, some teams don't. But if I'm the Jets, and they have a lot of RPO design stuff, but just in general, when you're doing the under center stuff, and you just kind of peek out there, wow, is he 5 yards off Garrett Wilson, or is he pressing up on him? Then okay, run the play you were going to. But they're doing some of that off crap. I'd be like, let's just switch and get a quick 5-7 easy yards. Manageable situation is going to be important in this New England game. So I remember all the time in high school. Again, we weren't this prolific passing team, but when my quarterback just kind of looked at and went, wink, I went, oh yeah, baby. Whoop, I'm open. And then just try to make a guy miss and see what you could do. So I hope they incorporate a little bit more of that, quite frankly, into the offense. They don't do that enough, in my opinion. AC, that's a funny one. We never play the Patriots. We play the Patriots and the referees. Yeah, there were some questionable calls in that game. I hate when that's a factor. I like when they just let them play. They've done it a lot for the quarterbacks this season. DJ Reed, Sauce. I'm not going as far as the people are saying, oh man, every play is a penalty, but they're letting them play, which I love. I prefer letting them play for the most part. And just call the game straight. Like if you're calling it like that for 99% of the game, call it for the other 1%. Like call the game straight the whole way. You don't like figuring things out like, oh, he's going to call it this way and then he's going to mix it up in the second half because it gets more important. Like, nah, man, just be straight up. I think that's important. Phenom, Boy Green, did you notice Darrelle Revis showed up at Florham Park this week? I did. I'm going to be honest. Not that it's just kind of weird. So Revis, for those who don't know, is going to be inducted into the Ring of Honor next week. The Jets are on the road for this game at Foxborough. Next week, they're at home for Chicago, and Darrelle Revis at that game, the home game, will be inducted at halftime in the Ring of Honor. I thought it was weird that Darrelle Revis showed up this week. So it's one of a couple of things. First off, maybe Revis during the week next week has busy plans or something, so he can't do what he was going to do today at practice. So that's why he did it. Number two, Jets Patriots. Normally when they bring these players back, Jericho Cotchery's come back this year. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Jericho's the only one I know off the top of my head. No, Sanchez, that's another one. But he does a part of their podcast too. But anywho, the point is that they brought some of these guys back. They bring them through the building. They do a lot of PR stuff. They do Jets official podcast with Eric Allen. And they kind of bring them through the whole building and do a whole shish kebab with them. So that may be another reason, is that part of that. And also the New England week, maybe they have some plans behind the scene with some pre-production stuff. I've seen that before, bringing players in to do some hype videos and other stuff. So they thought it'd be more creative to do it ahead of this Patriots game as opposed to a Bears game where you don't have the same connective tissue, obviously, that you would with the rivalry. I did notice that. I thought it was a little odd, to be honest with you. Again, Revis could come to practice every day as far as he wants, obviously. But yeah, I did notice that. And I also kind of raised an eyebrow like, oh, weird. Normally they would come the week of. Nick Mangold came the week of. Brick came the week of. So, yes, I noticed that. A little odd, but hey, Revis Island, baby. He's the GOAT. And, by the way, he will be going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in August. We're just waiting for the official announcement on that. That's my take, anyway. Kev Chata, is it snowing where you are? Absolutely it is. I live in Oswego, New York. I'm sure none of you know where that is. But it's in upstate New York. And it is by the way, for those who don't know, Oswego is the snowiest place on the earth. Snowiest place. And we're normally pounded from about November-ish. Sometimes it's as early as October through like April, May. Snow. Boom. I mean, we get pounded. So we did get the random storm. We didn't get it quite as bad as Buffalo, like the 3 to 6 feet and the crazy crap they're getting. But I did get, I don't know. When did it start? So like Friday, like our Oswego City, because we're on the lake, we're on Lake Ontario, so you get lake effect snow, which is different than like Buffalo bands of snow that they're getting. To get technical science meteorologist with Boy Green at 12:41 a.m. But yes, it is snowing where I am, and it's I can't see outside right now. It's pitch black. There's no lights on outside, so I can't see how badly it's pounding out right now. But yes, it was snowing the last time I checked. It seemed like we had probably 6 inches on the ground, something like that. But yes, we are the snowiest place in America. So there you go. Put that in your pipe if you didn't know. There's your fun fact for trivia night coming up. Benny, this is a game that will tell us all if the Jets are for real. They must cast out the demons. I feel like I've said that a few times in terms of like, Buffalo, they showed they're for real. Or this game, they showed they're for real. Obviously, like at Green Bay, at Denver before the year. That's how they'll show if they're for real. So I agree, but I feel like we've been saying that a lot this season. But yes, this New England one and beating them would feel different, certainly for the fan base, I would say as well. Mike Kaz, good to see you, Boy Green. Good to see you too, Mike. Thanks everybody for tuning in again. This sporadic, kind of spontaneous live show, just kind of out of nowhere. I'll try to run through as many of these as possible. Let's go because I don't want to miss any of you guys. So let's see. Vern, 2015 Jets, Pats get 4 field goals. That could be possible. I think Nick Folk had 4 or 5. So I could see a lot of field goals. Jets 830. Paul Boy Green, the legend. What up? Thanks for the late night content, brother. 100%, guys. Hope you're enjoying this. Mike Kaz, 4-2 in the division will put us at 11-6. Good second year. That's for gosh darn sure. And they're in great spot. Vern, when you're on a hot date Friday night and tell her to nap so you can watch Boy Green pop up live. Yes, I love all the people that adjust their plans based on my random lives. That is it. JW, hit the like to help push Boy Green. That is true, guys. If you enjoy the show, there are two ways you can contribute to the show. The free version, which anyone that is watching right now can do, whether you're watching live or later, is like button and subscribe. Those are free ways you can contribute to the show. If you love the show, if you love Jets content, and we try to crank it out almost every day, we try to do it as often as possible. Guys, like and subscribe. That's the free way. And if you love me so much that you'd be willing to reach into your pockets to do YouTube super chats or join the Boy Green Super Fan Club, which is my YouTube membership, and you want to support the show on a monthly basis, feel free to do that. That is an amazing way to show, and I'll always give you guys shout outs because it means the bottom of my heart when anyone just likes and subscribes. That's cool. But you go the extra step of going that far. That's amazing. So by either way, you guys can all contribute if you're watching at home, and I appreciate that. Jets are going to romp Sunday. I hope you're right, JW. That would be amazing. Jim Page. Okay. I live in New England now. They're so spoiled here. They need to be humbled. I'll be at the game making noise. I love it, Jim. And I don't care. Like, I've gone to, I've not been in Foxborough yet. I've passed it a million times. I've gone to Fenway Park like 100 times, but I've not been to Foxborough yet for a Jets Patriots game. I'm sure that's coming in the future. But I've gone to Buffalo, and I'll tell you, Bills fans are the worst. Oh, beer thrown at you and all kinds of crazy crap for sure. But you know what? I embrace it. Not that I hate the people. People make their own decisions. If I'm going to a road game, I don't give a flying crap, man. I'm wearing Jet stuff from head to toe. I'm not going to be scared. I'm not going to not wear my stuff for fear of retaliation from other fans. No, man, I'm going to embrace it. I wear my Jets crap all the time, and I either get shit or recently some nice comments. Hey, not bad this year. Thanks, pal. Appreciate you. That happened at a restaurant last night. A couple people went, Jets? I'm like, yeah, we're here, baby. Oh, man, make all the noise. I'll be looking out for you on TV, Jim. I love it. Let's see. Let me try to get through as many of these as possible before we sign off. JW, where can I get a jersey that doesn't take forever, doesn't cost $300? Again, I'm an official guy, so I always go to the Jet shop or NFL shop, but maybe someone else can help you out with that on there. Let's see. Don't F with Corey Davis. Vern. Yes, keep. I like Corey Davis, too. I think you get too cute doing some of that kind of crap. Mims will take Davis's role as he grows. I've heard a few people say that. And Hawk, Boy Green is a night owl, and he doesn't give a flying hoot. I know my lingo. I'm going to have to start putting that on T-shirts. We do have a Boy Green shop with cool glasses like this if you want to support. Boy Green glass. There you go, the logo. Shout out to my boy Joe Branham who put that together. But yes, we have a Boy Green shop. So yeah, stuff like chutzpah. Chutzpah. I don't give a flying hoot. Gosh darn. I kind of go that with some of the lingo. Yeah, we got to get that on merch. And it's funny that this is not just I before the first episode ever that I did of YouTube stuff, I'm like, you know what? I got to say flying hoot. I got to say this stuff. This stuff I just say and that people love. So that's awesome. That is great. Yeah, Maximum. Yes, we were getting snow. Like I said, I don't have a window out, but it's 6 inches right now. Last time I checked, but I will run out there in my skivvies to double check that. Boy Green made me lose sleep, LOL. Yeah, I bet my fiance did too, who was in the other room. And I just said, I'm going to go live. And she's like, do you ever not go live? I'm like, well, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. Jimmy McNamara says this is going to be a nail biter. Make no mistake about it. I hope it's not, but you're probably right. All these Jets Patriots games, for the most part, have been really close. So, yes. Vern, if Elijah Moore lays another egg here, is he done here officially? No, because again, there's no trade deadline anymore, and he's going to be on the team the rest of the year. But I would be incredibly disappointed, surprised, flabbergasted if Elijah Moore had a zero burger, no receptions, no jet sweeps, no nothing. That would surprise me based on everything I've heard this week. We'll see if I'm right or not. Let's see. We're running Patriot fans out of Gillette. I can only hope so. Final couple comments here. Is it going to snow Sunday for the Patriots game? Actually, I've heard that there is a chance for snow. Let me check the latest weather report. I did hear there may be a smattering of snow. Nothing like Buffalo. Nothing like Buffalo, Cleveland. It still says sunny, partly cloudy, 39 degrees at game time. I'm not seeing any snow right now, but I did hear, I think it was Bill Belichick who said it at his press conference today, that it's possible from what he's heard. So that's possible. Let's see. Oh, wow. So there's a lot of people from Nice's in Watertown getting pounded. Oh, yeah. Watertown is a freak. That's like an hour and a half away from me. I'm seeing, Maximilian in here. I'm seeing a few people actually are from my neck of the woods. Okay. All right. I love it. Yeah. Hawk, plot twist. Everyone in the chat is from Oswego. Go figure. It's kind of weird because I'll be honest, the places that I'm streaming at aren't like. So my personal Facebook page, I have a professional page that all you guys can check out articles, videos, and stuff at BoyGreen25. But like my personal Facebook page, if I were streaming from that, it would make sense that a bunch of Oswego people are in here because like Oswego people are my friends on there. But like my Twitter has no affiliation to Oswego, relatively speaking. The YouTube is just digital spitting out into the universe, not really Oswego. And then Heavy on Jets is a page with 20,000 Jet fans, not necessarily Oswego. So it is kind of surprising that we're getting this Oswego overload. But I love it. James, where are you from? Well, I will say I'm not from Oswego. I've been here since 2008. We moved up here when my dad retired, quote unquote, from the Navy after 20 years in the Navy. He retired for a day, and then he got a job in nuclear power. And then basically, it was a random dart throw, basically, is how I got from Oswego. So I'm a military brat, so we moved all over the place. I've been in, let's go through them. Saratoga Springs, ding. St. Mary's, Georgia, ding. Goose Creek, South Carolina, ding. Somerville, South Carolina, ding. I was born in Norfolk, Virginia, ding. There you go for all you people with the future Boy Green trivia. Let's see. Oh my gosh, did I get them all in there? Oswego, Goose Creek, Somerville, Norfolk, St. Mary's, and there's a Florida one there and there too. So it's been a little bit all over the place. I have been all over the map at no period for very long. It's been all over the place, but I have been in Oswego since 2008. So I've gotten some roots. Let's see. We need a couple of years for this to be legit. Yeah, because I imagine, regardless of what, the Jets are going to do something. Again, I don't believe they're just going to finish up with 6 wins. So let's call it 9-10, somewhere in that range. So I predicted 9-8 before the year. But if you're 9-10 and then let's say you make the playoffs and go on like a mini run or something, and then at the end of the year, I would imagine the message is going to be you're getting AVT back, Breece Hall back, and then plus everything else, right? Future draft picks. Free agent signings, there may not be a lot of splash because of the money, and they're not set to lose anyone major. Quincy Williams, Quan Alexander are free agents. The safety room's a little weird with LaMarcus Joyner, but like you're not really losing anyone major, so you're gonna basically bring everybody back within reason and more draft picks and more money in free agency. So this should be even better. So whatever you think should just be beyond that, which is interesting. Let's see. Chrono Kenny, if Jets win, Paul, I'll send you some of my winnings. I'm all about that. Love that. Kev Chata, side note, getting anything good for Black Friday? I'm going to be honest. We kind of went on a rant about this because my day job is sports talk radio. Black Friday isn't Black Friday anymore. Whether it's because people are lazy, stores are just like they don't care anymore. Because there used to be like, oh, Black Friday at midnight or whatever after Thanksgiving, or sometimes they would have things that start earlier. Like, hey, you got to be here for this 50-inch plasma. I know that's like nothing now. It's like 85-inch, right? Is that the numbers we're going for? Like, hey, you got to be here. But then I saw like at the beginning of November, like Black Friday sale starting now. I'm like, what? So like. And then now there's like stores that go like, hey, Black Friday sale started. We opened at 6 on Thanksgiving, like not even midnight anymore. Like what? So like all the Black Friday hoopla kind of doesn't exist. Like it does in some sense. Like the people that advertise the plasma screen, then you go, there's only 5 of them. So right now I have nothing on the docket for Black Friday, but a little bit of Christmas shopping I got to do for the final members of my family. Thankfully, my fiance handles the bulk of it. But yes, let's do it. But yeah, so nothing crazy. But random rant. Black Friday isn't what it used to be, and that's kind of sad for all the popcorn people watchers out there. Vern, get this man over 3,000 subscribers. How are subs so low? Vern, great question. I will say that this channel started super late. I didn't start this channel until 2020. I was doing it on other platforms. My podcast, by the way, has been on air for a decade. So I've been doing the podcast for a long time, which was just audio for a long time. But yeah, I don't know. I know like Buffalo's got like 7,000. Green Bean was hovering right around 10,000. Then you got others that are super blown up. Matt O'Leary is phenomenal. Jets Talk 24/7. Jake Asman is really good too. Maybe I just don't have enough content consistent. I will say, I will pound the table. Our draft offseason, this past offseason, was the greatest thing we've had. We did a new episode every Monday, Mock Draft Mondays. We had spectacular guests like Charles Davis, Connor Rogers, just freaking superstars in the industry. I've got a lot of connections, flex, in the draft industry and in general, but mainly in the draft industry is where my biggest bones are. And we had like the greatest show in history. We had so much content, overflowing content. Like, I was only supposed to do one episode a week of Mock Draft Monday, but we had so many guests that I just freaking overloaded. And we had 4 or 5 episodes drop in a week. And so that was spectacular. So we had a nice bump there. But in general, yeah, man, we need to get up there. I need to jump on some of these other pages. There's no question about it. Buffalo's up there. Matt O'Leary, Jake Asman, all these guys. Let's bump it up, baby. So hit that subscribe button. Pound it, baby. Pound it. So yes. Let's see. Let's quickly go through the rest of this. Good show, BG. Appreciate that. Bella Dick. Very nice. Smash the Mac. Oh, you guys are getting some good ones here. Jets win 21-17 Phenom. I love it. That's you guys are getting some good ones here. Oh, the return of the Mac. There you go. That's very nice. Albany. Okay, so we got people all over the place here. That's nice. AC, appreciate your pop service. Yeah, thank you so much. My dad spent 20 years in the Navy. My brother spent 4 years in the Marines. My uncle was is still in the Army, I believe. I believe he has not finished his tour. He was in Korea the last time I checked. So we have a million. And I was supposed to go into the Army before we moved up here. So I would not be doing this show right now, probably. So that's kind of crazy. Maximum. I saved that in my notes. I got to go back. I just saw the headline. I went, I'll grab this for later. Yes, I got to double check that. Something about a tattoo, maybe. I got to double check that. That's a good question, Kev Chada. And then we'll sign off here. I'll run through the rest of these to see if I missed anything. What's the first jersey you're going to get for your kid? I will say, technically, the first jersey, like an actual jersey, that has not happened yet. But like the onesie jersey, which goes to show like the volatility of Jets land. So from what I understand, it takes 9 months to make a baby. So there's, for us, not to get too deep, but me and my fiance, we decide to have a baby. And it took us a little while to have a baby. There's all these other extracurricular factors. For some reason, it wasn't happening between us. So it took a little while. It took maybe a year, of actively trying to have a baby and frustrations and trying to working through a lot of stuff. And then boom, it happened. So we had a year of that. Oh, wow, we're pregnant. So 9 months of that. And then now my baby turns 10 months Thanksgiving week. So things are moving and grooving. But anywho, going back to your question, so we bought Jet stuff. We got stuff from people because they know I'm a crazy Jets guy. And so the first quote unquote Jets jersey you have is like a onesie, Sam Darnold, which just goes to show you again that the volatility of it. Because Sam Darnold, oh wow, he's the future. Oh wait, Zach Wilson's the future. Oh wait, Geno Smith is the guy. This is the guy. So her first one technically is Sam Darnold, but it's like a onesie thing. But Sauce would be a good one for the baby, sure. But if I had to pick, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to having actually someone watching games with me, like a kid, like that. That would be wild, and cheering and loving it and being kind of, indoctrinated to it would be really cool. So Zach Wilson, Sauce, any one of those could be great. Boozer 32, yes sir, Emerson Boozer, baby. Hey Boy Green, love your content. I would try and support you in any way I can. Again, guys, whether it's for free or any other way, all of that is beautiful. Phenom, Boy Green, you are top notch, the best voice in Jets content. I appreciate that. I've had a few people say, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" And I'm like, "Oh, radio." They're like, "Wow, you've got a great face for radio." And I'm like, "Thanks." Because you're probably right. I got a lot of beard, a lot of action happening here, so that's probably true. Ooh, love from Hawaii. Hawaii? Oh boy, I'm super jealous. 808 Smoke, that'd be nice. So you have no idea about our snow problems, I see. Ragnar Jed, whoa, you're live? Just popped in, you're live. Yes, 100%. Yeah, the Breece Hall news, we just decided to go live. So let's get some final things in here. Boozer 32, good luck. I have 5 of my own. I could send you some onesies. Yeah, feel free. Hit me up on the side. I'm on social media everywhere at Boy Green Shot. It's late, which is a good sign to sign off. I am at Boy Green 25 everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So feel free, guys. That'd be really nice of you. Really, I'd really appreciate that. So the more the merrier. Yeah, my baby turns 10 months next week, which is great. And I will say this: we are going to talk, obviously, guys, before the holidays. But if we don't, if this is our last conversation before the holidays, happy holidays to all you. Happy Thanksgiving. I will be traveling for Thanksgiving, so we're going to be trying to get in some early content earlier in the week. We'll have our post-game show on Sunday, so we're 100% going to have that. I'm going to have a Jets-Bears interview, at least one. That'll be Monday or Tuesday. We'll have the Will Parkinson show on Monday. I'm trying to think what else. And I think I have one. I'm jumping on a Bears podcast for them. That'll be up on our feeds as well. So we're going to try to get a bunch in, but I'm traveling on Wednesday and we'll be in the New Hampshire area. So we'll be a little kind of all over the place next week, but we'll have plenty of content and spread it out through the week. So guys, happy holidays. Thanks everybody for tuning in on this random Friday night / Saturday morning at 1 a.m. But this is what we do, baby. This is what we freaking do. When there is Jets news to discuss, we bring it to the airwaves. And in case you missed it, again, Breece Hall had successful knee surgery and is expected to be a full comeback for next year, which is amazing. You guys can rewatch the beginning of the video if you'd like any more of those details. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you Sunday, 2 hours after the game, and hopefully we're talking about a Jets win. We're talking about Jets in first place in the AFC East. And, of course, that embarrassing streak coming to a screeching halt because it's a new era of New York Jets football. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you on Sunday. Peace out, baby.